going to look at the Premier League season from an official's point of view now. Was it a good one? Was it a bad one? We bid farewell to a couple of refs.
It wasn't a good one.
Yeah, we bid farewell to a couple of referees in the company of a former Premier League referee and Mail columnist and BT refereeing expert, Graham Poll. Good afternoon, Graham.
Afternoon, Paul, and good afternoon, Andy.
Yes, we saw Mike Jones has been kicked upstairs. He's retired and becomes the video assistant referee. He's going to be working on the development of that. And Neil Swarbrick's gone as well, I understand.
That's right, yeah. It's I mean, what they're going to do, they're going to run VAR in the background of games throughout the start of next season, probably acknowledging that they weren't quite ready for the experiment this season, and hopefully they get it into a state that they can actually launch maybe even in the middle of the season. I mean, it's an interesting one. I think
you think that's a possibility, Graham? You think they might not wait until okay?
The chairman can look at it and say okay, because obviously it'll be running in the EFL Cup as well as the FA Cup. They're expanding that out more next season to do more games in those two cup competitions, and if the results seen are good, then I think that could well come in. It's an interesting one. That I think they've learned that they would go in too forensic and taking too long over situations, and we're not surprised to see games. I mean, the FA Cup final on Saturday will be used, and I'm not anticipating them using it very much at all. It's only if there's something really contentious that they'll change it.
Arsene Wenger thinks it's a mistake, and if you saw that, he feels that Premier League should have gone with it with other parts of Europe. They should have come in now and just kind of worked it as they went.
Well, I'm sure he thinks lots of things, but I wish him well in his retirement.
Yeah. Have you got any particular Arsene Wenger memories, Graham, good and bad?
Yeah, I mean, you have to admire the man, the coaching he did. I mean, I can remember refereeing Thierry Henry playing for France under 21s as a speedy but okay left winger, and he coached him to be probably the best centre forward we saw in the Premier League. People can discuss that, but he's certainly up there, and that's Wenger's coaching as well as the ability of the player, obviously. So you've got to admire him for that. But from a referee's perspective, it was hard to get on with him. He never spoke well to you. I think he just wanted you to get on with your game and obviously see everything his way. And that's fine to a point, and I understand why he's looking at it. But I think he became a parody of himself, not seeing things that were against him and seeing everything that should have been for him. And then disappointing, as I admire the man, and Arsenal fans all loved him and love him even more now he's gone. So as I say, but from a referee, we talked to referees, there was very little positive interaction with Arsene.
Interesting. And now, of those that had good seasons, Michael Oliver's had a fairly notorious season because of what happened with Buffon, but I think generally
he's had a very good season.
I think most people feel he is the standout referee on the list at the moment in the Premier League.
Oh, without question, and let's not forget. I mean, Michael's 33, so still a very young referee, and he will get better and better, and that's a good sign for us. I think he's got the potential to go all the way and be as good as Howard and Mark Plattenberg, and really do good things for us. He's now in the top group of referees. He's certainly made his name in Europe. People know who he is now, so that will that was probably one of the referee incidents of the season alongside VAR. And if you look at the Premier League, recognised he was the best referee. He refereed the most Premier League games. He did 30. And then the same old characters lining up behind him with Moss and Maurer and Atkinson and Taylor and Dean. But it'd be good to see young referees like Paul Tierney and Chris Kavanagh, both guys. I think Kavanagh's a good referee, and he came in. He did 15 games. He looked the part, and he settled into it quickly. And it's not easy adjusting coming up from the Football League into that group.
What's the hardest thing, Graham? Is it the pace of it? Is it I don't know. I mean, it must be quite a difficult thing. You become a referee because you love football, and then you're refereeing these big players, and it must take a little while to get over that. Household names people see on Match of the Day every week, and suddenly you're in the middle of it.
I think it's more the level of scrutiny, the expectation that things should go a lot better. And the fact that you're stepping up, it's like you look at any team that comes up, and this year's an exception that none of the teams that were promoted actually got relegated. So it's often the case they do, and referees, should be seen as similar. It's no disgrace if you get to have a go, see if you're good enough, step back. Stuart Atwell is another referee who came up, wasn't ready for it, got relegated back down. He's come back up now, and he's looking okay, and he could develop. He's still a young man that can do it, but it's a change in lifestyle. But the difference now is the guys that have started refereeing actually started knowing there's a profession to aim for, and some have started with the view they want to get there, they want to be professional, as opposed to myself and my generation of referees. There was no such thing. There was no Premier League when we first started, and everything changed. But we were established as top division referees when we went professional. We'd already been refereeing Premier League for a number of years, and then we went professional. So it was less an adjustment. So very different challenges for them. I was interested to read in the Mail today. They did a review from each of the club's fans, and a number of them mentioned their hopes for next season, and referees were mentioned in it. Some fans were saying the Chelsea fan wanted better referees, obviously.
Yes.
Whereas other fans were saying leave referees alone. A lot of were saying VAR should be coming in, which is interesting, and one wanted the referees to attend press conferences, which I would always love, because I love seeing them in the press.
Yeah, it'd be great. What are they going to do about Lee Mason? I think Mike Riley, at the start of the season, you just lock him in a cupboard, throw away the key. That's what I'd do.
He's slightly biased after last Wednesday, I think.
I think you are slightly biased, but you know my feelings on Lee as well, so I can't really. I mean, he's 46, and we can only wish him as many birthdays as quickly as possible. But it is an issue, as you've highlighted. There are 18 referees on the Premier League this year. 2 have retired. That takes them down to 16. They gave 3 guys a chance, all in their 30s. David Coote, Simon Hooper, and Andy Madley, brother of. And you hope they come through because you've got the Mariners and the Atkinsons and Deans. Roger Reef's 52 and he's still on the list, and you think, geez, these guys are all going to come to an end all at a similar time.
Yeah, Mike Dean's about 70, isn't he?
That's a bit harsh.
Another popular one. He's 49. He'll be 50 on the 2nd of June if anyone wants to send cards.
I enjoy Mike Dean's referee.
5-0 for Mike. And to be fair to Mike, he did 25 games this season. So, and the reason I quote the numbers is that's an indication of how the Premier League view them, because you give the best player, the best refs for most performances.
In general, you may not always agree with his decisions, but he referee. I like the way he manages the game, so it's often a decent game when he referees, and I think that's an important thing too. None of them are going to get it right all the time, but it's their man management and how they run the game, I think, is just as important.
And you're absolutely right, and I think that's what you notice with Michael Oliver. He's very calm and he manages the game very well, and that's why I liked Tierney and Kavanagh coming on, because, as I say, they seem to slot into it quite quickly, and that bodes well for their futures. So no, it's overall. I have to say, I think the season's been, in refereeing terms, has been similar to playing terms, and that doesn't surprise me. In that it's been all right. There's been one Michael Oliver in my mind that's been the Man City. There's been some Andre Mariner, Martin Atkinson chugging along and doing what they do. They're fine, but not spectacular. And that's like that kind of 2nd through to 5th have had some good games, have made some mistakes. But it's not exciting. There's not a list that you go, wow, we're really pushing. And as a result, you can't be surprised that we haven't got anyone going to the World Cup. And that still is a massive disappointment for a referee. I understand, having got against my CV World Cup referee, that is such a massive thing, and Howard will tell you the same. And I'm still very, very disappointed that Mark Clattenburg walked away without a World Cup against his name. He was a super referee, really, really top quality referee, and I'm sure at some stage he will regret that.
We spoke to him. I actually asked him that question. We asked him that question last week, and he said, "Look, there was no guarantees I was going to get a World Cup, but I mean, I think we all knew he was going to, really, didn't we?"
That probably tells you that he, in my mind, I'd read between the lines that he knows he made the wrong decision. I'm not sure he's enjoying Saudi Arabia greatly. But what's I mean, you can read stuff, you can talk to Mark, and only he will know truthfully if he actually examines it. It may not be now, it might be in 5 years, in 10 years' time, when he looks back and thinks, do you know what? Because World Cup, it's just different. I mean, we've got it this year. You turn up there, and it is just massive. the coverage of it, the attention. The world of football looks at it, and it is, it's bigger than you can do the Champions League final. You can do European Championships, FA Cup finals. But the World Cup stands apart by far.
Just one final one, Graham. Who should we look out for at the World Cup? I mean, the kind of the best referee in the world. Is there someone that obviously fits the bill for that at the moment? A standout ref?
I don't think so. I mean, it's all the guys we've seen doing the Champions League games that have become, say, household names that we know and trust. I don't know the South American referees well enough. I would expect someone probably to come through. The Europeans have been dominating and doing really, really well. So it's the one thing I wanted to raise with you, just to highlight for you, is not only Neil Swarbrick and Mike Jones retiring, but I am.
Really?
Yes.
You're retired?
55, and I've decided it's time to move on.
Really?
The media is a wonderful thing, but I've decided that so this will be our last little chat.
Oh,
really?
Graham, what a great shame.
Pleasure.
What a pity.
I've told BT Sport, I've told the Daily Mail, and it's...
you on the pulse?
Past just new.
Well, I mean, out of interest, I mean, you look, we ask you to do this every week
you're great
because
at this.
you're very good at it, and BT asked you to work with them, so did the Mail for that reason. So it's have you got bored with it, Graham? You want to? Is that how you feel? Or?
It's something that I've now, obviously, I retired 11 years ago from refereeing. I'm not as in touch with it as I was. I know some players like continuing going on and on for a long time. I'm not that. I stopped refereeing at 42 and at 43, I think. And I'm a great believer in you can move on in life. And so it's a decision I've taken, and we should be doing some more travel. My golf handicap will come down. I'm bloody determined to. And we go from there. So it's been a real blast. It's been fun. I've enjoyed. I mean, I love chatting to you two all the time. So never know. I might come and have a little chat with you at some stage, but not on a regular basis.
Well, look,
it's been absolute fun.
Right,
well, Graham, we've appreciated it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for that, and we will catch up with you soon. All the best.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Enjoy the summer.
Take care. Graham Poll there. Well, that was a bit of a shock to us. I wasn't
shock,
expecting
yeah.
that. Wow. So he's walking away from it. Don't want to do it anymore. It's a shame. It is a shame.
What are you going to do?
He's been very good on BT as well. I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
apart
because
from
he
his work
doesn't sit on the
does with
fence. He calls it like he sees it.
He certainly does. Yeah, we wish him well. Anyway, it's Paul Hawksby, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT.